This is the Marcia Week Show, and we're coming to you live from Barbados. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Marcia Weeks, and you are watching the Marcia Week Show. And we are coming to you live from Barbados, beautiful Barbados. And I know behind me, it looks beautiful. And that's really how it is right now. It's sunny, it's beautiful. We had a little rain early this morning and last night, and the place is just beautiful. Lovely, lovely. And I know this is how it is all throughout the Caribbean. So I want to welcome those who are watching from Caribbean. Those of you who are watching from Caribbean, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a beautiful day, a beautiful day. And Merry Christmas. I know we're pulling down the house and doing all kinds of things. But listen, as you are cleaning or whatever you're doing, you just turn me on. turn on, to keep it going. And as you're doing what you're doing, you just let us know that you're on, all right. So good to see everybody who's on. Can you just tell me where you're from, where you're watching from? Thank you so much. Those of you who are on, thank you for being on. I know you could be out doing your Christmas shopping and so on. And as I said, as you're cleaning, you are listening. But this is so important today. Today we are talking to the Caribbean, and we're saying, Caribbean, wake up and be aware of the new world order. Beware of the new world order. That is what we're talking about today. Serious topic. And you say, listen, it's Christmas time. Why are you talking about such a serious topic? But it's very, very serious. But before we jump right in, I'm going to share a video with you. Because as you can see, the scroll that is running at the bottom of the program today, that I am, advertising my movies. As you know, some of you might know that I'm a filmmaker. I'm a writer, producer, and director, and of 8 films, and I have some of them today, and they're on sale. So get them as a Christmas time. Watch with the family. So I'm just going to share a video with you about that, and in the meantime, please share and let somebody know you're on. Hi, Sebastian Caesar from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Oh my goodness, my brothers and sisters there, thank you so very much. God bless you. Thank you.
A lot of the things I read about Africa freaks me out.
You are descendant of Nani, many mighty warriors.
Joseph, promise me you will go.
Granddad was saying that it was...
Granddad, every time you open your mouth, his name come out of it.
You know what I had to endure under that man's hands?
So because of that, you're going to stop me from living the life that I want to live? Hell no! I'm done with pleasing you and everybody else.
Is that ganja smoking Rasta girl, right?
Look, Mom,
I'm on a journey to reconnect with my ancestry.
Many more will find their way home. May the souls of my 2 heroes rest in peace.
What can you do for a man who is living at subsistence level after you have profited?
Errol Barrow was among the dominant figures in the political landscape of Barbados for more than 2 decades.
We're the black workers. In the small island of Barbados where I am from, one does not join a club if one cannot afford to pay the dues oneself.
Do not wait until the end of the month.
Close your offices and be out of Barbados in 2 days.
He strongly believed that service to the country should not be financially driven.
Politics for him was about duty.
Nobody has ever been revered in history for having become the richest man.
It's too dangerous. You can't trust them.
Whatever plantation it is that you crawl off of, if I was you, I would go back on it here. I want you back on here.
Listen, you don't need to leave here.
I work for them. And in all that time, they never once asked me to give my opinion about nothing in the house. So how the hell she get to come in here and give speech?
Brought a black bastard in here for.
Meet Chrissy White, a courageous little girl who will not
Hey, hello everybody. So we're having a little challenge there. I hope you can see me now. Hi. Hello, 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 hello. Joel King is saying it's still showing Joseph, even through advertising Chrissy. Okay, so we're having some problems there. But I think you got the point. You got the point that we have movies that we are we are showcasing this Christmas, and as you see, the crawler is running there, and you can rent Joseph movies and this Christmas. Okay, so welcome to everybody again who's on. Welcome, Joel. Good to see you. Good to see you. And today we have a very, very serious topic that we're talking about in the middle of Christmas. Somebody says, why are you doing that in Christmas? We need to be eating ham and black cake and sorrel. And listen, we're going to do all of that, but there's some changes that's happening for us here in the Caribbean, and we have to stay focused. So this Christmas, we can't dumb down this Christmas because it's Christmas, very, very important. And that is why we have our discussion that is taking place on this Sunday, the 19th of December. Can you imagine that? 6 days before Christmas, and we are still at this thing. We are still, talking about what's happening, because this is important to not just Barbados but to the entire Caribbean. What is happening in Barbados at this moment is very important. Important for the Caribbean. And so we are going to revisit the Barbados Charter. That's important because the Charter forms the basis, right? Forms the foundation for our Constitution. And so this is very, very important. And I'm going to ask you guys to share. Please share and let somebody know that we're on. Let someone know that we're on. It's a very important show today. If you're on, the few of you who are on watching, and I want to, of course, welcome those who are watching from Caribbean. But as Joel is saying, we have to be careful with distractions. The Caribbean, those from you from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and you say, well, that doesn't have anything to do with me. Yes, it does. We're going to show you later in the program where it's important for us to take note of what's going on with Barbados. Barbados, very important as it relates to the New World Order. So I'm going to ask you to share. Joel King says, evil don't take a break. Evil don't take a break to eat ham and eat, black cake and all of that, right? There are people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at this moment who they can't buy those things for Christmas. They can't buy them for Christmas. So we might say, oh, well, I have to be out shopping and I can't do this and I can't do that. Stay focused. Stay focused. And remember, there are others who can't do that. So Sebastian, welcome. Sebastian Caesar, welcome, welcome again. And please share the live. Share the live. Please, 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 please share the live and join on Sunday. This is going to be broadcasted live on the Marcia Weeks Facebook page, as well as you can watch it. You can come on Zoom. There is the link that's there, the Zoom ID that you can use to come on and ask your questions and so on Zoom. But you can also watch it. You can watch it live on the Marcia Week show. All right. So I am hoping to see you. I can't share. I was hoping to share earlier. So I'm depending on you, Joelle and Sebastian and all of the others who are on, to please share. Hit that share button. Hit the share button. It's Christmas, but we're not stopping, right? We're not stopping. Thank you. We're going to share the live. Yes, very important. So this is coming up. And we see there Reverend Joseph Atherley, the leader of the opposition, will be one of the panelists. Professor Pedro Welch is a historian from the University of the West Indies, and the lovely Dr. Veronica Evelyn from Family Faith Freedom. They will be the panelists, and our host would be His Excellency Dr. Ferdinand Nichols. All right, and it is being sponsored by the Spiritually Aware group. Very important for us to remain spiritually aware while we're eating the turkey and the ham and everything, and all wrapping the presents, etc. Okay, so I'm going to need you all to be logged on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. All right, 5:30 p.m. Be logged on. All right, now. Before, I want to share some scriptures to you today, where our topic is Caribbean Wake Up, Beware of the New World Order. And I've been hearing the term New World Order from, I would say, in the 90s. That's when I started to hear about the New World Order. And I didn't even know what that was. You just hear people talking about the New World Order. It sounds scary. What is this thing? What is happening, right? And so let's just define it. Let's just define that right now. Let's define that. It's just a mask. It's just 6 feet. It's just 2 weeks. Come on, it's just non-essential businesses. It's just non-essential workers. It's just a bar. It's just a restaurant. It's just to keep from overwhelming the hospitals. Man, it's just to make the cases go down. It's just to flatten the curve. It's just a few inmates. It's just to keep others from getting scared. It's just for a few more weeks. Come on, guys, it's just a church. It's just a bracelet. It's just an app. It's just for tracing. It's just to let others know you're safe to be around. It's just to let others know who you've been in contact with. It's just a few more months. It's just a large gathering, but for protests. It's just a few violent protests. Guys, it's just a vaccine. It's just a little microchip. It's just a blood test. It's just a scan. It's just from medical information. It's just a vaccination certificate. Come on. It's just so you can travel. It's just like a credit card. It's just a few places that don't take cash. It's just so you can get your driver's license. It's just so you can vote. It's just a few more years. It's just the New World Order. A new world order is coming. It's been coming for some time. Coronavirus has simply accelerated and thrown many of the trends that will define this emerging world order into sharper relief. The world is going to look very different on the other side of this crisis. Best to start preparing for it now. Caribbean, are we prepared? What is the New World Order? The New World Order is a secretly emerging totalitarian world government. The common theme about the New World Order is that it is a secretive power elite with a globalist agenda and is conspiring to eventually rule the world through an authoritarian one world government which will replace sovereign nation states. The New World Order asserts that many influential historical and contemporary figures have therefore been alleged to be part of a cabal that operates through many front organizations to orchestrate significant political and financial events, ranging from causing systemic crisis to pushing through controversial policies at both national and international levels, as steps in an ongoing plot to achieve world domination. That is the New World Order. And I don't know about you, but it's very sobering. It's very sobering. As I read, it was just a vaccine, it's just this, it's just that. Until now, we are looking around, wondering what's going on, and it just smells of the New World Order. We believe that something is happening. And with that, I want to share some scriptures with you. What does the Bible say about the New World Order? Daniel 7, verse 23. Thus he said, as for the fourth beast, there shall be a fourth kingdom on earth, which shall be different from all the kingdoms, and it shall devour the whole earth, and trample it down, and break it to pieces. Also it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. Revelation 20, verse 4 to 6. Then I saw thrones, and seated on them were those to whom the authority to judge was committed. Also, I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the testimony of Jesus and for the word of God, and those who had not worshipped the beast or its image, and had not received its mark on their foreheads or their hands. They came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. The rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is the one who shares in the first resurrection. Over such the second death has no power, but they will be priests of God and of Christ, and they will reign with him for 1,000 years. And another angel, a third, followed them with a loud voice. If anyone worships the beast and its image and receives a mark on his forehead or on his hand, he also will drink the wine of God's wrath, poured full strength into the cup of his anger, and he will be tormented with fire and sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment goes up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, these worshippers of the beast and its image, and whoever receives a mark of its name. Here is a call for the endurance of the saints, those who keep the commandments of God and their faith in Jesus. The final scripture, Revelation 13, verse 1 to 18. And I saw a beast rising out of the sea, with 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 diadems on his horns and blasphemous names on his heads. And the beast that I saw was like a leopard. His feet were like a bear's, and his mouth like a lion's mouth. And to it the dragon gave his power and his throne and great authority. One of its heads seemed to have a mortal wound, but its mortal wound has healed. And the whole earth marveled as they followed the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, for he had given his authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast, and who can fight against it?" And the beast was given a mouth, uttering haughty and blasphemous words, and it was allowed to exercise authority for 42 months. And reading these scriptures from Revelation, primarily, it is quite sobering. And many of you would have seen a sculpture that was given, donated to the UN, and I'm going to show you this sculpture was donated to the UN. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to ask you guys to keep sharing. Please share. This is a very important. It's a very serious program today. Very, very, very serious. Yes. And this is what part of what I just read in from Revelation a while ago. And this article is saying the United Nations unveils the guardian of international peace and security statue that looks just like something from Revelation. I just told you that's what I just read. You know, the United Nations was founded in 1944 after the Second World War by 51 countries committed to maintaining international peace and security. In October, 6 months after the end of World War II, the nation of Israel will be regathered 3 years later on May 14, 1948. Nazi Germany and the events that took place during World War II was a type of the coming time of Jacob's trouble and the Great Tribulation. Since the time of Israel's regathering, itself a fulfillment of over a dozen Bible prophecies, excuse me, the end times time clock has been ticking with an ever-increasing ferocity. The United Nations is a major player in events that are preparing themselves right now to take place, and indeed have already begun. Guys, this is the statue here. And I know that a lot of you have been talking about it, but the scripture that I read in Revelation is what gives the description of this statue. And when the scripture here says, and when they say peace, remember the Bible says in 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 3 that when they say peace, then sudden destruction will fall upon them, right? And the United Nations, this person, Jeffrey Grider, who wrote this article, says that just when you think that things can't get any more end-timey, then they are right now. Guess what? They do in spades. This demonic figure you're looking at is right now standing guard outside of the United Nations Visitors Plaza and performing the arduous task of securing international peace and safety for our one world global society. We are talking today about the new world order. Given the demonic nature of the United Nations, it makes perfect sense that they would have a creature that looks like it came out of the pages of Revelation, doesn't it? Did you know that the United Nations and their final destiny is written in the Old Testament? Take one more look at this creature that is so, you know, I mean, it's so even hard to look at it. And this is a creature that is supposed to be the guardian for world peace, right? And as I said, something looking like it came straight from the book of Revelation. Yes? Hi, Anika. Anika is sharing something with us there. As though it came right out of the book of Revelation. Please share, guys. Please share the live. Share the live. Everybody, let somebody know that we are on. very important that we do this. As I said, this is a very, very, very important program that we are having today. The question is though, is the Caribbean ready? Are we even aware of what's going on? Are we paying attention? Yes? Are we paying attention? Are we even aware? And I think it's a very, very important. Again, please share the live, and let someone know that we are on. Yes. Okay. So let's continue to talk about the New World Order.
Probably heard some talk about the New World Order. The media wants us to believe that this is a topic for conspiracy theorists, although it has been talked about for generations by presidents such as George Bush Sr., Nelson Mandela, and Bill Clinton.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
After 1989, President Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
That the affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order.
But also by the world's most famous philanthropists such as Cecil Rhodes, David Rockefeller, Henry Kissinger, and even George Soros.
I think you need a new world order, that China has to be part of the process of creating it, and they have to buy in, they have to own it.
These important figures, who apart from Mandela, were all among the top of the elite when they were still alive, are not the only ones who dream about an all-powerful world government. In 2015, the UN presented its controversial Agenda 2030, which is almost identical to Klaus Schwab's Great Reset. In their own words, the UN, like Schwab, wants to ensure that by 2030, poverty, hunger, environmental pollution, and disease no longer exist on Earth. It sounds like a sympathetic plan, until you read the fine print. You see, the idea is that Agenda 2030 is going to be paid for by us, the citizens. And just as it is currently required of us that we give up our basic rights for the sake of public health, we will be demanded to give up our wealth in favor of poverty reduction. These are not conspiracy theories. You can read this for yourself on their official website. In short, it boils down to this. The UN wants to take the tax money from all Western countries and give it to the mega corporations of the elite, who will be contracted to rebuild society. Globally, a completely new infrastructure is needed, because fossil fuels must be made a thing of the past, according to the UN. For this immense project, a world government is needed, says the UN. And the same UN takes it upon herself to be this global government. Just like Schwab, the UN also believes that a pandemic is the perfect opportunity to accelerate the implementation of Agenda 2030. It is worrisome that the WEF and the UN openly admit that they consider pandemics and other disasters as an opportunity to transform society, especially since we have seen that the elite have all the resources at their disposal to make us believe that there is a pandemic, and even to create one. So we certainly should not take these things lightly, and we should examine them carefully. And when we do that, we come across things that are even more troubling.
Wow. Quite troubling. And one of the things that you notice that Charles Schwab said there is that China must play a very important part in creating this new world. China needs to play an important part. And if we stop to think about where this pandemic originated from, this is not to discriminate against anybody or anything, but the reality is that it was Wuhan, China. And and China is working very, 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 very hard to become the new superpower. So there is that rivalry between them and the US, right? And I want to just share with you some of that information. But it's very very important for us to understand the role of China, right? The role of China in all of this, right? And I'm just looking for that article for you. But it's important because China is swiftly becoming, setting up themselves, to be the new world order. And this is this is an article here from Foreign Affairs, and this is now concerning the pandemic after they thought, that they had. They had it under control. This is Xi Jinping. The article said he savored the moment, speaking before China's annual gathering of nearly 3,000 representatives to the National People's Congress in Beijing in March 2021. The Chinese president took a post-pandemic victory lap, proclaiming that his country had been the first to tame COVID-19, the first to resume work, and the first to regain positive economic growth. It was the result, he argued, of self-confidence in our path, self-confidence in our theories, self-confidence in our system, self-confidence in our culture. And he further shared his pride that now when our young people go abroad, they can stand tall and feel proud, unlike us when we were young. For Xi, China's success in controlling the spread of the novel coronavirus was yet more evidence that he was on the right track. Right? And this is important. It claimed that Xi had brought China closer to the center of the world stage than it has ever been. The nation has now been closer to its own rebirth, right? Most analysts predict that China's real GDP will surpass that of the United States by 2030 to make it the largest economy in the world. Moreover, the evolution of the pandemic has illustrated China's response to global challenges has profound implications for the rest of the world. And this is why you're hearing that China needs to play an important role. And one, it causes you to wonder if this entire thing has not been planned. That this is something that is planned out, because there is they know exactly what they have in their view, and it is the new world order. It's happening, and you just heard the video, and they were very, very clear about saying it. It's not any conspiracy theory. It is something. This is the plan. It's a new world order. We're talking here about totalitarianism, throughout the world, where there is a one world government, where the elite is in charge of the world. That is the new world order. That is what they are purporting to be doing. The challenge that we have here in the Caribbean, really, we have to ask ourselves: Are we prepared? Are we prepared? We see all that China is doing throughout the world. It means China is in almost every country. And they are setting up, because they are now going to be the new superpower, and it is all set. It's something that is already set for them. This is already set for it to happen. This is what is happening, and the question is: Are we aware? Are we aware? Is it something that we recognize that is happening? What is it? Look at China, in our own Caribbean. Look at what is happening in the entire Caribbean. Again, I'm going to ask you to share this live. Very important. We need to be able to connect the dots, right? Very important that we connect the dots. Now, this is an article here from CNN. And the CNN, in this article, CNN looking at all the different areas that China is seeking to dominate in, right? As you know, America, they're watching China. They're watching China, concerned about China. And CNN is talking here about the fact that one of the areas where China is seeking to be dominant is in the area of investment. And this is happening in Pakistan, right? And it says in a bustling street in Pakistan's capital, the air is thick with the familiar smell of mutton sizzling on charcoal. The plumes of smoke rising into the sky are illuminated by something once uncommon here: the blinking red neon of a sign bearing the restaurant's name in Chinese. All right, this is Pakistan. Right? The Chinese-Pakistan Economic Corridor, popularly known as CPEC, has become a buzzword for economic prosperity in Pakistan, an integral part of China's One Belt, One Road initiative. The corridor is a combination of projects ranging from roadworks, a fiber optic cable project, railroad lines, a deep sea port, coal mines, and solar farms that Pakistan views as a huge opportunity to develop its economy. And you will see, this is a video I'm going to show you where in Pakistan, the children are even learning Chinese. And I think you would remember, those from Barbados would remember our Prime Minister saying that we are going to need to start learning Chinese. And this is what is happening because the plan is this world domination, and it appears that China will be at the helm of this. Okay, so let's just watch this a bit.
的书打开。8月、9月、10月、11月。
我们是巴基斯坦人，我是文是中文。
We have to learn Chinese and have to communicate with Chinese people and know their culture, know their everything. It's a food also, right? So you have to 喝水，我喜欢喝水。你喜欢喝什么？
Guys, this is what is happening in Pakistan. It was they started a couple years ago, and and China is infiltrating through investments. And it's not just in Pakistan. We can see it right here in the Caribbean, and that's why I'm asking you, Caribbean, are we ready? Are we ready for what is going to hit us? Yeah. China is not just dominating through investments, but according to this CNN article, but also in the area of education. The article is saying in majority of the universities, especially the private universities, the classes in the classroom that the Chinese, there's so many Chinese students, right? This professor in Illinois says, Gregory Davis, he says he's an accounting professor, and he opened his first roster at the University of Illinois at Urbana 3 years ago. He was shocked by the number of Chinese students in his class, right? He says, oh my gosh, he recalled thinking, how am I going to pronounce these names, right? Davis taught on the East Coast and thought thought the student body in this Midwestern town, surrounded by soy and cornfields, would be predominantly domestic. This year, he says his graduate class is at least 80% Chinese. All right. So we got it, and this article was written like about 3 years ago. So can you imagine now? All right. So it's not just investment, it's education, in the area of education. It's in the area of infrastructure. Look at what's happening in Kenya, right? How Chinese money, look how Chinese money is transforming Africa. This one, I know we see some of the articles coming out of Africa. Kenyan and Chinese workers are putting the finishing touches on the biggest infrastructure project in Kenya's post-independence history. And this project, I believe, is completed now at 3.8 billion. Right? That's it. $3.8 billion. Right? This is a railroad that runs from the port city of Mombasa to the capital Nairobi, part of a larger Chinese-built rail network linking several countries. So it's not just Kenya, but it's going to link all Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. All of these nearby countries are going to be linked by this railroad. That obviously, they're going to be happy about it, right? This is going to be something that they are going to be, they're going to think it's Christmas. All right.
It's a towering achievement. Kenya's standard gauge railway, built and 90% financed by the Chinese, it will run almost 300 miles from the port city of Mombasa to the capital Nairobi, with plans to connect Kenya to 6 other East African countries. It's the country's largest investment since independence in 1963, and it's being called a game changer, replacing the more than 100-year-old colonial-built line. It's planned to take half the load coming through East Africa's largest port, which down a slow and congested 2-lane highway. For now, all tracks lead to here, to Nairobi's brand new terminal, which will become operational this June. They hope that it will open up the East African markets, but it has come with its own share of controversy. For one, there is a $3.8 billion price tag, which is 6% of Kenya's GDP. It's a massive risk, which they hope will pay off. That's what people are saying. Look, this is a very big bet that you've taken in comparison to your economy. I think that there will be a very strong return from this investment, but obviously it has been expensive. Kenyan officials involved in the project did not respond to CNN's request for comment. Chinese authorities referred us to Chinese headquarters, which did not respond either. Chinese presence of the continent has seen allegations of corruption and over-reliance on Chinese labor at the expense of African labor, and a lack of transparency. But the company behind the project, State-backed China Road and Bridge Corporation, or CRBC, employed 25,000 locals on this railway. And for environmentalists protesting the effects on wildlife, CRBC have designed wildlife corridors. Locals, though, appreciate the dependable construction.
They're the best. We have had a lot of problems with the African contractors, stealing shoulder works, but now with the Chinese, they are doing good. They are doing extremely good work.
There's been a dramatic change. Africans saw China as Santa Claus. You want a stadium? You got it. What else do you want? You got it. I don't think the days of that enormous largesse are there anymore. They still have the capacity to do big things, but they're going to make sure their interests are covered. While this infrastructure presents a massive economic potential for Kenyans, it's up to them what they do with it. Because in the end, it's not aid the Chinese are providing, it's business. Farai Serento, CNN, Nairobi.
Yes, I'm hoping that you were able to hear the audio on that, but it's just telling you about the Kenya, what's happening in Kenya, and that they built and 90% financed the railway in Nairobi, Kenya, right? And so there's a lot of money that is invested in infrastructure. And it's not just in Kenya, but it's right throughout Africa, in Jamaica as well, right here in the Caribbean, in Antigua, right? Their presence is all over, and there is a reason, guys. They have also started to do a lot of traveling, right? Tourists, as I said, the Chinese are big spenders, and so in Britain, they're noticing that there's a lot of Chinese that are now tourists all over. They said they're big spenders, and in the tourism industry here, it's saying that China alone spent over $261 billion. Big spenders. They are the ones that spend the most on vacations. So there's something that is happening with China, and I believe that they have a significant role to play with this new world order. And this is what I want to bring over to us today. And Caribbean people, we're going to enjoy our Christmas, but we're not going to dumb down. We're going to stay focused. Very important. Military is another area, and because of time, I would not go into all of that, right? China has spent over $810 million on military. That is in 2016 alone. All right, in military, much more than everybody put together. US was 2.2. I mean, it's the numbers are all there, but it's China is just being dominant in military. And the last this is the last area. There is a video here, but I'm afraid to show it because I'm not sure if the audio, you're going to hear the audio very well. But I hope this is enough. Okay, this is Bernard Pula is saying the US itself owes China over 1.1 trillion US dollars. Exactly. And through this, over indebtedness is one of the ways that they're going to, start the control. Right, it's over through the over indebtedness. So this is a very, as I said, a very sobering show. It's not all screaming and shouting today, but it's important information for us to have. Now the question is, what about us in the Caribbean? And we're looking at, let's look at Barbados. And I have to say, look at Barbados because of all the Caribbean islands, the country that it seemed to be all the way out front, leading the way, seemed to be this wonderful country of Barbados. And we're all looking on and wondering, what is happening? What is happening to what is happening and what's happening in Barbados? We're seeing that the leader of Barbados is who seemed to be possibly is the person that is an agent, seem to be an agent of some sort for somebody. We don't know who it is, but the Barbados seem to be out on the out front. I'm speaking to somebody this morning, and they said to me that Barbados seem to be the catalyst for the new world order for the Caribbean. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think that Barbados is the catalyst of the new world order for the Caribbean? Now, and they have a lot of reasons for thinking that. Number one is this removal of God from the Constitution, right? The plan to remove God from the Constitution. I mean, already it is removed from the Charter, and the Charter is a foundation, as I said earlier, for the Constitution. And the changes of the Constitution is going to happen in the new year after we've eaten the chicken and the ham and the turkey and drink the sorrel and the black cake and all of that. The Constitution is going to change in the new year, right? So that the first thing I want us to note here, there's 6 things, and the first thing is the removal of God from the Constitution. And this is evidenced by the new charter. The next thing that we hear throwing about here, it's the universal basic income. And with that, I want to share a little video about this, the universal basic income. That is something that I would never believe in my time I would hear that, because that sounds like communism to me. But that is what, what we're hearing, that, that they're thinking of. What might happen in the very near future. Let me just share a video on that for you.
Just my thoughts on the legislation concerning the Credit Bureau at Barbados.
Okay, so this one is on the credit bureau, which is also another one of those other signs, right, that I'm seeing. So there is a removal of God from the in terms of the charter, and by extent the Constitution. There is a whole issue of this universal basic income. There's the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which Mr. Bernard Pula is going to share on just now. There is a debt settlement bill of 2021, which, and by the way, there are just so many bills that are being passed so quickly, right? There is the whole idea that Barbados could become a vaccine manufacturing center. And there is, of course, a level of debt that Barbados is in. So we're going to look at a couple of them. So right now, I'm going to show you the video about the universal basic income after. But let me just show you the video now on the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And here, Mr. Pooler's ideas on that. And I'd just like to hear your thoughts on it as well.
Barbados. And coupling that with comments made by, I believe the gentleman's name is Mr. Corbyn, who saw far-reaching changes coming out of the legislation. I have not seen the legislation myself, but I understand that the legislation does create the possibility that questions could be asked concerning your religion and your sexual orientation and so on, which seems to be at odds with a credit system, a credit bureau. So one wonders, because when you look and see how that credit system is being used elsewhere, we see like in China, where you can earn credit points and so on based on behavior. So it's not just a matter of, well, did I pay my bills on time? Did I fully pay off my loan? Did I make my credit card payments every month? And based on that, I have a certain credit rating, which says to a lender or potential lender that I'm worthy. I can, you can trust me. I have a good credit rating and so on. But it talks about behavior. If I do certain things, adhere to certain rules and so on, I earn credits because of that behavior. I think that's potentially dangerous. I think it interferes with people's freedom, because someone is making a determination is what is good behavior. For argument's sake, if you're going to say religion, that religion is going to impact that credit rating. Now, what gives me a good credit? If I'm an atheist, if I'm a Christian, if I'm a Buddhist, if I'm a Muslim, I follow Islam, and what gives me a bad credit rating? So that legislation, I began to wonder myself. I listened to what the gentleman had to say about it, and I look and see what's going on in other parts in the world, in particular in China. And I'm saying this seems to be opening a door for something that we recognize in the Bible. And that is essentially what is termed the mark of the beast. It's the mark gives you the right to trade, to buy and to sell. Without the mark, you are inhibited to do so. But in the Bible, the mark of the beast goes beyond accepting a mark, it has to do with the denial of God. Because effectively, God is saying, if you take the mark, then you have no part of Him. So, coming back to the question about religion, and they would ask you a question, what is your religion? If I was to say, do I have to deny my Christian faith in order to be able to trade? Is that where it is leading? Those are the things that I think about when I consider this legislation, and I just wonder what others think as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Pooler, for that contribution. And he ended it by asking, what do others think? And so those of you who are on today, what are your thoughts about it? If you have knowledge on this, share the knowledge. This is, I believe this is going to be the first. It's an introductory edition. I believe that it's the first this is a series. We're going to do a series on this. So I want you to share your thoughts about it. Do you think that this is preparing for the New World Order? This is what I know some of you would have heard the voice note from Fred Corbin. Is this something that you believe, or you think it's nonsense? Do you see any connection with what is happening? Do you see any connection with the credit system that is in China? Are we patterning, or is this a patterning of China? Are we taking our lead from, direction from China? What is happening? Why is it that this small country, it seems like, in the midst of this pandemic, so many things that's happening, and out of the blue, we're being told about this Fair Credit Reporting Act. Do you think that this has something to do with the New World Order? What are your thoughts? Go ahead and write it in the chat. Steve Moore says it's all about slavery. By 2020, you will own nothing and be happy. Okay, and what, Steve, do you think that has anything to do with this New World Order that is supposed to be set up, which is a New World Order, is a totalitarian government? Do you think this has anything to do with that? And this is, as far as I've seen, Barbados is the only Caribbean country that is pushing this at this moment. I have not heard of this happening at this level in any of the other countries. Yes, they do have the private sector within different countries. They do have credit bureaus, but this is now, we're talking about at a national level, and it is causing a lot of people to try to figure out what is going on. And as you're saying, Steve is saying Barbados is taking its orders from the World Economic Forum, and which causes me to wonder, with our leader, with the international recognition that our leader is receiving, it makes us wonder, and because of these bills that are being brought to Parliament right now, having to do with the universal basic income that they're discussing. That's not a bill as yet, but that they're discussing the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the debt settlement bill. All of these things are, our leader here in Barbados is talking about Barbados becoming a vaccine manufacturing center. And she was saying this long before people recognize that this vaccine, we'll be taking so many vaccines. And you're wondering, why is she talking about creating a vaccine manufacturing center in Barbados? These are some of the things that she was speaking of. And it makes me wonder, you know what? Is she an agent for the World Economic Forum? Is she an agent for the World Economic Forum? Now let's hear Mr. Pooler speak on the universal basic income, and I want to hear your thoughts about that. Violet Beckles is saying there's a war between the IMF and China. Barbados is in the middle. Yes, it's a deadly game that I believe is being played. I believe that it's a game that is being played, and it is a deadly game between IMF and China. and we are so indebted. So indebted. So the six things I said that I would talk about. One is the removal of God from the Constitution. That is the plan. The plan is universal basic income, which sound like communism to me. Fair Credit Reporting Act, which Mr. Pula has just spoken on. The debt settlement bill, where bonds are being given to people who are owed money with zero interest rate, and that sounds to me like monopoly money, and sound like the whole thing, that we will, by the World Economic Forum, that we will own nothing and we'll be happy, because if you can owe people and decide you're going to give them bonds for it with zero interest rate, and we don't know the value of the bonds at that time, right? Then one in here to be the vaccine manufacturing center in the Caribbean, right? When we look at the level of debt that Barbados is in, I was told that we are in debt. You know what? We owe over 800 million Barbados dollars. 800 million. Right? We have the highest debt per person in the entire world. Right? The highest debt per person in the entire world. It's a little country. And this is some between, I guess, IMF and China. Right? So the question is Barbados the catalyst for this new world order here in the Caribbean? Is our prime minister, has she been tapped as an agent? Those are things that Angela Cox is saying, yes, she believes that she is. Angela Cox says that the plan is to remove the minds of people, from the minds of people, values and morals. Let's hear from Mr. Pula, and I want to hear from you. Just write your comments right there in the comment section. But let's hear from Mr. Pula about the universal basic income, and what are your thoughts about that?
Just a few thoughts, personal thoughts on this universal income. I see that the World Economic Forum raised the same question and talked about taking people's assets away and so on. And everyone would be provided with a certain level of income. I just wondered if everyone's assets are going to be taken away or only certain people. But it makes you think about a lot of things. If you provide me with income, then I'm beholden to you. If I'm not earning my own income, somehow I've lost certain freedoms. Can I say, do I have freedom of speech? Do I have freedom of religion? Do I have to change my habits and my behaviors and my beliefs in order to earn this income? And as we look at the world and we look at technology and we see the increasing, I wouldn't necessarily say perfection, but we can see that artificial intelligence is way beyond what we called artificial intelligence probably 10, 15 years ago, or even longer. It's a far way ahead when we look at some of the robots and so on that are able to speak and converse with people and so on. It won't be too long before these robots will replace people in jobs. There's nothing to stop a robot from doing plumbing and that's possible now. Painting a house, a lot of menial tasks can be done by robots. And what happens to the people who were employed in those jobs? they wouldn't be able to work, but they must earn some level of income. They must be able to survive. So I can see where this universal income package is going to fit right into that. Effectively, the state will maintain you because you will not have the means to maintain yourself. Your jobs, a lot of those jobs will be taken by technology in one way or the other. And that may include some professions as well. It certainly would not be beyond the technology to be able to do work of an architect or an accountant or even a lawyer. So that's what we're faced with, that's what we're looking at. And it would appear that although the world for a long time has fought against socialism, because we've seen the dangers of that, every country who's attempted that in any great way has not been a success. And those who have survived it have done so by embracing some form of capitalism. But given the scenario of technology taking over jobs and so on, it would seem that whether we like it or not, is that a socialist type world is what we're going to be headed into, where the state will own all, because based on what the World Economic Forum is suggesting, our assets will be taken. So you would lose your home, and if you have property, you would lose your property. You may be able to continue to live in it, but you'll have to pay rent of some sort. I think that's what they're saying. And you would be provided with a level of income. And they said you will be happy as well. So happiness comes with a package, although that's left to be seen. So that's just my thoughts on that, where we seem to be headed. And we seem to be going there at a tremendous rate. But it's no surprise, a lot of it. It's not a surprise. It fulfills Bible prophecy. That's where we're going. One world government is where we're going. And it'll only be a matter of time before one world leader will emerge. And that one we will be able to identify as being the Antichrist. So for those listening to this and who are Christian, prepare yourself. Be ready, because your bridegroom will soon come.
Wow, that is so sobering, Mr. Poole. I just thank you for that contribution. It is so sobering. When you sent it to me, I was preparing and listening to it. It's like, I thought this would be happening, after I'm gone. I didn't believe that this is what is happening. And there's some things that Mr. Poole said there, that technology is taking over with AI, etc. They're able to use technology to do so many things, and so the need for us to work is not going to be there anymore in certain fields, and that is why it's possible. While the World Economic Forum is saying that the state will own all. And therefore, this is what this universal basic income is about. And again, I am still amazed that the first Caribbean country that I'm hearing this being mentioned in is in Barbados. I have not heard anybody else talking about this. I'm not saying that it won't happen in Jamaica and other countries, but I'm curious as to why Barbados is the first place that I'm hearing about this. Barbados is the first place I'm hearing about a national credit bureau. I've not heard of it in another Caribbean country. If you've heard of it, let me know, right? And this pushing that Barbados become the manufacturing center for vaccines for the entire Caribbean. This is what our Prime Minister is lobbying for. and the level of debt that we're in as a country. And one of the ways I believe that they're going to be able to quickly control us is because of this debt. We are so indebted to the IMF and to China. 800 million Barbados dollars, right? 800 million Barbados dollars. And to think that of all, I mean, I believe our Prime Minister is an excellent orator. She speaks very well. I understand that. And that's a gift that God has given her. And so she has given lots of speeches. And as I researched this morning, I recognized that, I was trying to see on what merit did our Prime Minister receive that environmental award. And it seems that it was because of the speech, because we don't see anything happening in here in terms of the environment. There's nothing major that's happening in here that's not happening in other Caribbean islands. I know we have the recycling bins that are not really working at the moment. The system is not in place. So I am wondering, why did she get that award? Is it that she is tapped? Is she the agent, the World Economic Forum's agent for the Caribbean? I don't know, and I'm asking. And I want us to think and to probe and to pray about it. As Mr. Pooler said, those of you who are Christian, or even if you're people of faith, this is very, very important for us at this time. What is happening in this country, right? What is happening in this country? What is going on in this country? Why is Barbados taking the lead? Why are we out in the front, right? What is all of this about? And many of you, I do have the picture here of our Prime Minister, who, as I said, is a great orator, and who's receiving the award. And I just want to bring up that picture again, and we congratulate her on receiving the award. But it causes us to think, wonder what is going on, to be honest, right? What is happening because of what all these other initiatives that we see happening to us and happening in the country, and they're going fast. As she says, we are a nation in a hurry. This is what our PM is saying, and I believe we I continue to pray for her, because I'm telling you, there's something that is going on that is very strange in this country, and strange that is happening to our leader. We're not hearing the fullness of it. There is something very, very strange that is happening, and I believe the Caribbean needs to be aware of this, because what is happening is going to affect the Caribbean as well. She says Friday, December 3rd in Parliament. This is what our PM said. She said, I keep saying that, yes, I'm a hard taskmaster, not because I want to be, but because I feel that we don't have the luxury of time in these difficult times, in the middle of an IMF program, which you put us in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of climate crisis, which you guys are creating a climate crisis, right? We have a duty to build faster than any government has had to build. The truth is that, yes, this is a government in a hurry. And yes, sometimes milk will spill, she said, but if we don't be a government in a hurry, we may not have a country to be in a hurry about, right? And the person who put this post up said, please, PM, don't let too much milk spill. It hurts when milk spill, because you're saying that you're in a hurry. You're in a hurry. Who are you? What is this hurry about? Who's asking you to hurry? What are you hurrying to do? Is this why so many bills have been passed in the last couple of weeks since we've become a republic? Right? And you're talking about the universal basic income. Whose idea is that, PM? Is that yours? Is it yours? This Fair Credit Reporting Act, right? Whose ideas are these? All of a sudden, right? What's happening? Why is it that we are borrowing so much? why it seems over the top. These are the questions, that we have. These are questions that we have, and we have not been hearing. We can't get any answer for them. These are serious questions. And with there's a close tie here with this with the environment and climate control and all of that. And there's just an article that I want us to look at. And today's a lot of information and a lot of things I'm throwing out there, little nuggets for us that I'm throwing out there that we can go ahead and research on and find some more information on, right? But when I hear that the PM is getting an award for an environmental award, and she is very big on this climate control and so on. How many of you know that climate control has to do with depopulation of the earth, of the world? How many of you know that? This is not conspiracy theory at all, right? How many of you know that it has to do with that? And here's an article, a little bit of an article. I know I'm giving you a lot of information today, but it's important, very important. And it talks about human population growth and climate change.